Initiative, a road safety solution to try and prevent needless loss of life on our roads. Let me give you some background. In October 2015, sadly, Andrew lost his daughter in a road traffic accident. Andrew's come up with a balanced road management solution to include incentives and re-education of drivers about driver responsibility. First of all, Andrew, welcome to 101 FM.
Thanks, Mike.
So, Andrew, obviously a hugely personal journey for you, and something that I'm kind of guessing, having spoken to you before, you've dedicated the past 2 or 3 years of your life towards this.
Well, yes, that's correct. The actual journey started in late 2006 when my children were coming up to driving age, and I just considered that it would be a great idea to add rewards to drivers to actually make it a better world. That didn't go too far. Of course, then 2015 come along, and then everything got supercharged from there.
I mean, it's really interesting because we were talking about this on a completely different subject, that, you know, we've grown up in a society where if you do stuff wrong, you get noticed and punished. If you do stuff right, you get ignored for it. And this whole initiative, this whole idea that you've got is to actually reward good driving behaviour. Is that the right idea?
Yes, that's exactly it. The Killick initiative, its mission statement was to actually go and find out why there were so many people getting killed and injured on our roads and apply a solution to it. We have found out why, and the why is a case of balance. In a nutshell, I suppose you could say it like this: there is negative and positive enforcement. We've got plenty of negative enforcement.
Sure.
But we've got no positive enforcement. In fact, we've never had positive enforcement. You could almost call it a relationship problem.
So it's almost like you can relate it to the kids in school. The naughty kids are the one that get the attention,
yep,
and the good kids get ignored. And it's the same with driving, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely it is. It's a balance. It's an absolute balance thing. That's yes.
So basically, is the idea that if, for example, I don't know, let's take a young driver, for example,
yes,
on P plates, so they go through the first year and they don't get any demerits, they don't have any bad behaviour at all.
Yep.
What will they get? What in your initiative, what would be the sort of reward for that?
Okay, well, to explain that, exactly how it works, we've got a driver management system. And in that driver management system, it's all penalties. If you can just visualise a seesaw, and you've got all these penalties on one end of the seesaw, we need to instill incentives on that to balance that up.
Sure.
Right, to make it horizontal and achieve balance. Now, once you're a driver that gets outside of being a learner, you become part of a part of a system where it's almost like a lottery. We pull so many people out every month. Right, we reward those people. You subtract learner drivers, people that have got demerit points, you know, in the month of that draw, people that don't have current licences. Right, that reward is cut in half. Half of it goes in kind to the driver, they can go shopping with, and the other half goes to good causes like cancer research, stem cell research, fixing up the barrier reef, etc., etc., etc. That's the core of the scheme. And
it sounds like a great scheme. And, you know, we were talking about it. We always have a chat at home about the interviews that I'm going to do the next day. And we said, you know, for a driver, if they went for, say, 3 years and didn't do anything wrong, to get $100 off your rego would be a huge incentive, or to get $150 off your car insurance would be a great incentive as well, wouldn't it?
Well, Mike, the authorities can do that, but that's not the problem. We've got to build a structured driver management system. Now, Victoria did this. They gave an across-the-board discount on drivers, on licences. Now, it didn't work, or it was cut after after a short time because it cost so much money. But the problem with that was it was bolted onto the side of driver management, not included within it.
Okay.
Right.
So you know, obviously on our show we have different age groups of people listening. Young people we know do actually listen to this show, and I have to say, and this is not a generalisation at all, but I see a lot of P-platers do a lot of crazy things on the road. And I've talked to them, I say, why do you do that? And their attitude is because we can. What can you say, Andrew, to young people that might make them just think twice about their driving behaviour?
What I can tell them is this: is that their demographic is by far the greatest that gets killed and injured, and you don't want to live like that because it changes your life forever. Put aside the deaths; the injuries are horrific. But what I'll say to them is that there are people out there like myself that are putting solutions together to make this a far different world. We are going to include you into society. We are going to give you a greater purpose for your driving other than just going from A to B. And this is what the Killick initiative is all about. But it is a inclusive scheme. It's going to have to be funded by the federal government. It's going to be massive, and it's going to change driving forever.
So, Andrew, obviously you're talking about government funding, and it's all about raising enough money, even at the beginning, to raise enough money to build awareness of this scheme.
Yeah.
What has been the reaction so far from the authorities, from people that you've spoken to? How have they received this initiative?
Well, I was part of the road initiative in Queensland that was born out of the Easter 2015 disaster, and it ran for about 2 years. I went to a variety of meetings there, and the general consensus within these meetings that authorities are still very much inclined with the system that they've got, and what they do is they just rehash the resources that they've got, you know. However, it was told to me by a person within there, quite a high person, and I won't mention their name, that they believed that we had a very different way of viewing things, and they wanted us to get out there and share it. Now, what I've been doing is approaching the Sydney Morning Herald, obviously you, Mike, and we are building up connections like that, media connections, to get that story out there. That this is a driver management problem. It's a relationship problem between positive enforcement and negative enforcement, and we must have negative enforcement. There is no way out of it, and it cannot be bolted on. It must be made to be part of driver management.
So, you know, I would imagine anybody listening to this morning, especially if you've got young people, and you know, we've got one that's just gone out and got himself a motorbike, and you think, wow. Yep. So you're on Queensland Road on a 200cc bike, and your heart's in your mouth every time they go out. One of the things I like about the details that you sent me, it said about the initiative will change the lives of families and make driving for future generations not only safer, but more enjoyable. Because let's be honest, Andrew, it's not fun out there, is it?
No, it's not fun out there, because what's happening at the moment is instant. We're not building anything that is going to take us into the future. We're just coming up with things to appease a particular moment. We need to, in some ways, deconstruct driver management and rebuild it.
Start it from scratch.
And start it from scratch. Yeah. Driver management is your problem. Right, and that's the whole problem. It's not the police. Every time we go out, you see the police giving somebody a ticket or something else like that. They're actually doing the right thing, because that's negative enforcement. But there's no positive.
No positive.
No positive. That's the problem.
If people want to know a little bit more, if they want to find out about your initiative, where can they contact you?
I've left my details at the station, but my contacts are go and contact us on Facebook, right? Killick Initiative. Right, and my phone number.
We'll leave that. If people want to have your number, they can ring here. But is there a website being developed at the moment?
No, there isn't a website, because this is forever developing at the moment, and it's just our Facebook page. And if you go onto that, you'll see a lot of posts coming through, and it will explain everything. And yes, it's all there.
Andrew, I'm so pleased that you came in and shared your story with us here on 101 FM. We wish you all the best with this. Will you come back and tell us how it's going in a few months?
Absolutely, Mike.